Hello, we are Group 4, and we are going to be presenting our Visual Analytics Term Project. Today, we have Shiavani, Sean, Ritka, Brooke, and myself, Jared. So, what our project proposal was is we had looked at the data set of US home sales from 1963 to 2016. And our goal was to determine that over the course of 60 years, how the housing market has changed in terms of historical context. We believe that it's important to know this data as it provides insight into our long-term economics, social, and policy trends that shape the housing markets, helps us identify recurring patterns and potential future trends in housing, such as shifts in demand, pricing, and market cycles, and it offers a clearer picture of housing affordability trends important for addressing issues like homeownership rates or rental purchases.
Today, I'll be discussing two visualizations created from a data set on US home construction and sales. The first graph spans 1963 to 2016 and focuses on construction stages alongside houses sold and for sale. The second graph is a heat map that examines regional sales of new single family homes from 1973 to 1989. Let's start with the first graph, construction stages versus houses sold and for sale. This chart shows trend in houses sold, houses for sale, and construction stages, homes not started, under construction, and completed over time, as you can see on the right side with the colors indicating which stage it is in. In the 1970s, we see a rise in construction and sales driven by suburban expansion and population growth. The early 1980s recession caused a sharp dip in both sales and construction due to high interest rates reducing affordability. Recovery in 1990s and early 2000s was fueled by economic stability and easier access to credit, but the sharp decline after 2006 reflects the housing crisis. The relationship between these variables reveals some key dynamics during periods of growth, such as the 1900s. Increases in construction, especially homes under construction and completed, coincided with rising sales. However, during downturns like the 2008 recession, sales dropped and constructions of new homes slowed dramatically. At the same time, an oversupply of completed homes worsened the imbalance between supply and demand. Additionally, there is often a lag between rising sales and construction activity, as seen during recoveries like the 1990s. This delay reflects how developers cautiously respond to shifts in demand. Overall, these trends highlight the sensitivity of the housing market to economic conditions and the close interaction between sales, inventory, and construction stages. Next, let's turn to the second visualization, the heat map of new single-family homes sold from 1973 to 1989. This graph shows on regional sales patterns with darker colors representing higher sales. This heat map highlights regional trends in new single-family home sales from 1973 to 1989. Darker shades represent higher sale volumes, allowing us to compare activity across South, West, Midwest, and Northeast. These are different regions in the US. The South dominated sales during this period, reflecting rapid population growth tied to the Sunbelt migration. Factors such as warmer climate, lower taxes, and affordable housing made this region highly attractive. Similarly, the West saw steady growth, particularly in California, as suburban expansion and the rise of the tech industry boosted housing demand. In contrast, the Midwest and Northeast showed weaker sales. This decline can be linked to the Rust Belt's economic struggles, where industrial closures and job losses slowed population growth and housing demand. Additionally, energy crisis and economic mortality during the 1970s likely influenced these regional patterns as well. What stands out is how economic and demographic shifts uniquely shaped each region. This visualization highlights the interplay between broader economic trends such as migration and industry growth and localized housing market, providing insight that remain relevant for understanding regional housing dynamic today. Thank you for listening. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Hey, this is Ritika. I'm going to talk about the construction stages. In my first visualization, we can see there are three construction stages: houses that are completed, that are not started, and that are under construction. Completed houses have mid-level value compared to the other two categories. Completed homes represent the tangible, ready-to-move end product and making them an attractive option for a buyer as these homes are fully constructed. They need to sell for a wide range of price depending on the location, size, and the quality, which could contribute to their mid-range level value. And the houses that are not studied have the lowest value, which could imply fewer projects or lower demand for uninitiated project. Houses that have not been started yet uh, could be facing reduced demand or fewer projects being initiated. This can be due to economic uncertainty or lack of availability financing for developers or general slowdown in housing development. Houses that are under construction have the highest total value, possibly due to the higher demand and larger quantities available. Higher demands home under construction can command a premium, especially if they are in desirable location or if there is strong demand for new houses. And market dynamics, the higher value could also reflect the fact that many homes under construction are being sold to the buyers who are willing to pay for completion, but are willing to pay upfront or look in the price, sometimes even paying a premium for newer homes that align with modern taste and preferences. And the next visualization, I will be explaining house prices over the time. First, I'll discuss about the growth period from 1963 to the late 1980s. There is a steady increase in the average house prices, showing the constant upward trend. This is due to after World War II in U.S. experienced an era of economic growth marked by raising salaries, a larger population, and heightened demand for housing, and suburban expansions. With an increase in families relocating to the suburban regions, the need for new houses surged, causing the price to rise. Inflation, the inflationary condition of the 1970s, marked by increasing expenses for material and labor, led to higher prices in the home sales. Even the mortgage interest rates, although those were in 1980s, the market experienced consistent price growth due to the robust demand, especially in urban and residential areas. And between 1990 and 1999, price continued to rise significantly and peaked in 1999. And then I'll discuss the drop in the price. As you can see in the graph, like there is a drop after 1999. A sharp decline occurs and likely reflecting the housing market crash during the financial crisis. First one is economic boom. The 1990s were marked by the strong economic expansion, technological innovation, and a growing class that could afford homes. Mortgage accessibility during this time, there was also an increase in access to the mortgages with more affordable and flexible loan options, allowing the people to buy homes. However, the sharp decline in price after 1999, particularly around 2000, was largely due to uh, stages of the 2000s, housing bubbles in 1990, housing crash. In addition to the tail end of 1990, saw economic slowdowns, higher interest rates, and rising housing inventory, all contributing to the sharp drop in the prices for in early 2000s. Price drops 14,876 to the 7,642. Recovery period from 2000 onward, house prices begin to recover slowly and steady growth through 2016, where they reached 13,675 USD dollar, and this is because of the economic stabilization. By the mid 2000s, the US economy began to stabilize following the reasons for of the early 2000s. Government intervention after the houses market crash of 2007 to 2008, government intervention and policy changes such as the Troubled Asset Relief Program and Federal Reserve interest cuts uh, helped to stabilize the market and promote recovery, reduce the foreclosure with fewer homes being foreclosed upon by 2010 and stabilized in mortgage lending, home prices begin to rise more steadily.
Hello, my name is Sean Arthur Allen, and this is one of the two visualizations that I've done. I chose to focus on a 10-year time period from 2005 to 2016 to look at the trends at the during that of the housing market during that time. For my first visualization, I created a line graph to show the average market price of homes between 2005 and 2015. The graph illustrates how prices fluctuated over the course of the 10-year period, with a big event happening in 2008, which was the financial crisis. I've included some text boxes to briefly go over the events of what led to the financial crisis, and just like a small one to just to show that the aftermath of it. With 2003 and for example, one of the text boxes 2003 to 2007, there was a big trend of giving subprime mortgage rates to people with rather low credit score, which led to in with the assumption that the price would always continue to rise. And 2007, and then during 2007, the bubble kind of popped, which led to a bunch of companies losing trust in subprime mortgage investments, and then the banks were closed. A bunch of companies started liquefying all their assets for it, which led to the market to fall. And then 2009, Obama took over as president, and he tried to implement a lot of policies to try to stabilize the economy. And then from 2010 to 2015, the market was recovering, and then it started growing afterwards. And then as for the visualization itself, I utilized the orange and blue diverging color scheme to signify the whenever the price grew, and also to emphasize when the price dipped during the market. This makes sure that it's color blind friendly, but also emphasizes the deflation of the housing market during that period. Next page. For my second graph, or my second visualization, I have a dashboard which compares the houses for sale against the houses sold, and the annual rate of new houses for sale against the amount of houses sold again. Basically to show that even though, for the top graph, there's a bunch of houses for sale, there's a big discrepancy. It's a disproportional amount of houses for sale in that time, in the 10-year time frame, compared to the houses sold. As you can see in the left-hand side, the spike of houses for sale, which coincides with the 2003 to 2007 subprime mortgage lending trend, where they just kind of gave there's a bunch of houses for sale, a lot of potential money to be made there, with with it falling and deflating in 2008 to 2009 with the coinciding with the financial market crash. As for the dual line graph at the bottom of the visualization, with the annual rate fall like being very high, with it falling down in 2008, people still don't really have money to to purchase houses from like after recovering from the 2008 financial crisis, even though the market recovered. I think that's good. I don't know if that was enough.
I think it was good. I think it was good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself now then.
Here we have a bar chart comparing total home sales across different categories such as new single family houses sold. This chart clearly shows which categories have the highest sales, allowing us to easily see the market share of each home type. This helps. On this slide, we have a geographical map showing the distribution of home sales across the United States. This map visualizes the total sales value in each region, providing a clear picture of where the highest sales activity is occurring. This allows us to quickly identify regions with the most significant sales and gain insights into the regional trends in the housing market.
In summary, I wanted to give a sort of year-over-year evaluation of the houses as it pertains across all 60 years. So in the 1960s to 1970s, you can see there was a slow growth in the valuation of the total houses that were around, starting from 229,000 all the way till the 1974, which about doubles in price. However, you see a sharp increase in that with about a 2.5x times jump in 1975. And that trend significantly continues all the way as it's going, all the way up until, as we mentioned before, 2005, 2006, 2007 with the subprime mortgages. This also stems from some of the beliefs that the price will always continue to rise, as from 1975 onward, the price almost never saw a significant fall, so much that it did in the financial crisis. You can see a slight dip from 1987 to 1922, but relatively it stayed the same. Nothing as significant as the almost $800,000 dip in total valuations of houses that happened in 2008. And as mentioned before, we did recover. Um, However, it did take a couple of years, I believe in 2009 to 2011. Those were years we took to kind of bounce back from that. But after that, we had gotten over the hurdle after the Obama presidency, and we had continued to have an increase in evaluation. One final thing we want to mention that is specific to the data set itself is we believe that often you can have misleading data when it comes to certain sets. For example, if you were to tally all of the missing total value from all houses not sold each year, you see a graph that peaks out at about 55,000 in 2005, 2006. These are the houses that were for sold or on almost sold and then for sale. However, if we compare that to how much that makes an actual impact in the next slide, we can barely see the difference. So this is an example of how often sometimes data can be misleading depending on how you represent it. We hope that you enjoyed our presentation and have a good night.